Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk, guys. Philip Billing with the equalizer, and it is game back on, guys. This is another game that Napoli doesn't win, but this, I wouldn't say feels like a victory, but it's a completely different type of feeling than some of the previous ones. I want to say, first of all, apologies I couldn't make the game against Como. It's not because Napoli lost. I warned you guys before the game that I couldn't make it for that one. And apologies I couldn't make a video midweek that I promised I would in the post where I announced that wouldn't be a live after the Como game. But this week at work was pretty crazy. Let's put it that way. So I am here now, and we will talk about this incredible Napoli Inter 1-1. First of all, guys, I want to put a poll, very straightforward one. Are or do you believe in the Scudetto? Very simple, yes, no. Because maybe the mood last week would have been a lot more towards the no. But I'm curious to see what it is now, especially the way that this draw came, right? It wasn't some, it wasn't one of those games where you go and you steal a draw, you steal a goal at the end. Like this was Napoli outplaying Inter for a full 90 minutes. Apart from that free kick, I don't remember any other chances that Inter had. Maybe a half shot that was blocked by Buongiorno on Di Marco, and that was pretty much it. Whereas Napoli were just always constantly there. So yeah, I actually feel like we deserved to win that game. Lex says the dream continues. Well done. Napoli deserved the win, but the draw is worth its weight in gold. Yeah, 100%. Paul says that's what you call a football match. The boys gave 100% and maybe deserved a little more. Can't fault any of them. They left their soul on the pitch. Olids says, great performance today. I thought we were lucky not to win. Inter had nothing in that second half. We had loads of good play. Thought Gilmore looked really strong. Yeah, guys, Gilmore, Philip Billing, obviously, coming in with the goal. The midfielders were really, really strong today. Even Lobotka, instrumental in getting the goal. He obviously got the assist for it. And McTominay was present throughout the whole game. I think we were by far the better midfield, and that's saying something against this Inter team, guys. Lex says Gilmore was exceptional today, clean passing. What a performance he had alongside Lobo. Those two exploited the spaces so well together. And finally, we get to see both Lobo and Gilmore play because I had mentioned that this was a possibility maybe for Napoli when we got Gilmore, and I was excited to see having a double play. And I said after the Roma draw that I think in the last 10 15 minutes we should have played with Lobo and Gilmore side by side. I think especially when you're trying to control the midfield, but maybe the game is getting a little bit away from you. Having those two there gives us a lot of quality, a lot of control of the midfield. And look, there's games where it's obviously key to have Anguissa. I'm not saying this is the solution for every game, but I think when you're up against a midfield with greater quality than you, like Inter's, or you're in the last 10 minutes and you're trying to hold on to a result, I think having Gilmore there just allows you to have a bit more control. Maybe he doesn't give you as much physicality as an Anguissa, which maybe is more needed when you play against the smaller to medium sized teams and you need a bit more physicality against those guys. But because you already have enough technical advantage, right? And you just want to then give yourself also the physical advantage. But I think against Inter, it's the right play. It's absolutely the right play to go for that double pivot. So incredible, incredible stuff. Payman Dadkar says, I really don't see us having the quality to win. I hope I'm wrong. Atalanta to me remains the Atalanta. Yeah, they're only 3 points behind Inter, but I just don't see the group there. I think what happened between Lookman and Gasperini is quite intense. But they're right there, 3 points because both Inter and Napoli have dropped points recently. Let me just get some water, guys. There we go. I don't know why I put the cover as if I was doing something that shouldn't be seen on camera, but I was just getting water for my throat because I feel like I might be getting sick. LC says, "Wow, what a match! Good draw, 1-1 like I predicted, but wow, Napoli deserved to win." Yeah, look, I think we really did. We really, really deserved it. We had I don't know how many corners. Let's take a look at the stats very soon. But first of all, thank you. LC says we deserve the win, but Scudetto still on. Forza Napoli. I think it 100% still is on. Napoli 41482 club member for 5 months says really Napoli really busted their asses today. Yeah, look, we if we had done this in the second half against Como, we would have won that game. So it's very, very unfortunate. Lukaku played well. I don't know if Lukaku played well. Um, I'm not 100% convinced with his performance, and maybe I'll get criticized in my match ratings, but I thought he could have done a bit more. Um, I think he was not not horrible. Maybe it's not 100% his fault. He didn't get a lot of chances to show what he could do today, but I wasn't overly, pleased with Raspa and Lukaku today up top. I thought, if there was going to be a goal, it would have probably come from one of the midfielders, and so it did. And it almost happened again with Scott McTominay. Lukaku was very bad, says Sevdan. So maybe I'm more aligned with Sevdan. Danny Formello says, "Boy, I had another tab open. Then I heard Napoli fans around the world. Then I almost hit myself." Oh man, yeah. That's the reaction that everybody has when they see me, or hear me. Payman that guy says Inter was for the taking. I'm disappointed, but with the quality of what we have, it must be said Conte is the best coach in the league. I think yeah, I think look, there's this side of me that's disappointed that we couldn't get the 3 points. I 100% agree there. But then there's the relief that you still went and got a draw after you were 1-0 down. And the relief that I saw a team that is playing football again, after very poor games since the start of the new year, essentially, or since the start of February. So for the full month of February, guys, it was tough. Starting from the Roma game, Lazio. I mean, it was hard February for us, and I just couldn't recognize our team last month. But I could see the players that we come to expect step it up today. So very, very pleased with that. And when I think in perspective that there's 11 games still to go, man, if we play 11 games like this with one game a week, with Inter now starting the hard part of the Champions League where they won't be able to rest some of their key players, I wonder if actually this is really game on. Um, if there was maybe 2 or 3 games left of the season, then I would have been a lot more disappointed because then it's unlikely that Inter screws up. But with 33 points, guys, still up for grabs, that's there's opportunity for Inter. All they need to do is just not win one game. I'm not saying we will win 11, but it's very clear that we've had our bad part of the season. It's very clear. And now Oliveira's come back. David Neres will come back soon. So we're starting to, uh, you know, get a bit more momentum. Maybe more injuries will come. Fine. But look, even if more injuries come, Okafor is starting to, get back into match fitness. Billing, wow, what a player. I mean, we didn't speak after the Monza game, but he dominated in the first half and then comes on here and shows personality, character, and then gets the goal. I mean, it takes a lot of character and and football awareness to be at that spot at the right time. You know, for a midfielder to find himself at the penalty spot in the 88th minute, right there, then with his long legs, you know, gets the rebound. What a player going in with the tackles. I mean, this is the type of guy that in the second half of the season can really give us that something extra that we didn't have in the first 6 months, right? In the first 6 months, we had just our three midfielders and no one really that could come off the bench to change the game, to give us something new. But Billing, with his height, his physicality, and his football awareness and his skill, um, he gives us an option. And I'm a little bit disappointed maybe that Conte didn't realize that we had this player, this quality of a player on the bench in the games against Lazio, Roma, all these, like, he was there, he was available. I'm pretty certain that he didn't learn how to play last week. This is the type of things that Conte would have been seeing in training as well. So maybe we could have used them earlier, but I guess better late than never. Um, L.C says Inter will definitely drop points with their cup competitions, but we can't drop against bottom feeders like Como or Cagliari. But those can be tough games against the bottom feeders, the ones that are fighting to stay up. And look, I think every game's going to be tough. Every game's going to be tough. I don't think there's going to be a game where I'm gonna say, yep, that's an easy win. Like, I just don't see it. It's never been like that for us. And every game you have to go out there and put 100% because we've seen what happens when we drop off, to 90 or 80%. We cannot win the games, and it was very clear this past month. Hopefully Napoli keeps building. Yeah, man. I really do because I think he's a type of player that in the Serie A is different, can make a difference. He's not a typical midfielder that makes it out of the Italian system. Someone 2 meters tall. Um, like there's just not that many around, and teams just don't know how to handle that. I think maybe it's a lot more common in other leagues, but in the Serie A, I think you'll find that he can make a real difference. Larentu says we need to trigger that buy option. Yeah, and I don't even think it's that expensive. And look, why not? I mean, this is a guy who is clearly capable of making an impact. Uh, Paul says both Napoli and Inter had the chance to win the Scudetto this month. After losing the lead today, it will hurt Inter more than Napoli. We move forward with momentum and maybe the psychological edge. I think that's true. I think, look, Inter remain on top, but they'll see this as a huge wasted opportunity. And the image that strikes me the most, guys, is Acerbi getting so angry throughout the whole game. Every time that we came at them, he would get so angry that they were getting, exposed. And I just feel like they didn't feel comfortable. And now that they've conceded this draw, they will be feeling very uncomfortable. All of them. They will be feeling very uncomfortable. And maybe the pressure is getting to them. So let's see, guys, if we can keep it up. Um, and and look, they had Di Marco go off. Çalhanoğlu didn't look like he was at 100% fitness. It could be that Inter starts struggling a little bit with form over the next few weeks and months. Ale Cool says, bro, do you speak Napoletano? Sì, why you? I do. Well, to some extent, to some extent, guys. I mean, I'm not going to be like in the quartieri spagnoli, full on fluent. Uh, but yeah, I mean, a lot, yeah, like enough, let's say. Politano's very tired at the end. Bravo for the whole team playing with heart. Yeah, look, Politano, that's always his thing, That's always his thing. You know what you're gonna get from Politano. You're gonna get in a shift, but I think that he could have done a little bit more today with some of the quality of his deliveries. I think there was a real chance to do more. I want to get to, guys, the stats of the game, because I think they're very indicative, and I think it's worth reminding ourselves of just how well Napoli played. So this is the lineups. Let's go to where is it? The stats here. All right, let's see. Look, guys, shots 19 to 6, more than 3 times the amount of shots for Napoli, with only 4 though on target. Now, we'll get to some of those shots later. But look, we dominated Inter. I mean, I don't recall Inter being so dominated in the past, with only 38% possession and yeah, only 3 corners. The thing about us, man, 12 corners, and we couldn't find once a Napoli player. That's disappointing. And then it's also quite disappointing that once we finally brought on Philip Billing, that we then didn't get any other corners, right? We had a free kick that Politano put in, but it was very soft and lofted, and it allowed Martinez to come and collect the ball. But it was one of those things where, had some of those corners, had 2 or 3 of those corners maybe come with Billing on the field, then maybe it could have been different. And I don't understand Raspadori, man. I mean, he's got so much quality, but corners are just not his thing, right? I don't remember him putting in too many good corners, so I don't know why he's the one taking it. I think maybe a Gilmore or a Politano could have done a better job there. But even, well, Politano took some, some in swingers, but I don't know. Maybe we could have tried, if we wanted someone with the right foot, we could have tried Gilmore, maybe, because it was just not Raspadori's day today. I mean, he did so well the last few games, but look, it just wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. Guys, I'm going to end the poll. 71 votes. 85% of you think that the Scudetto is on, that we are in the fight. So that's good. There's those that are a bit more pessimistic and others that are a bit more optimistic. I'm of the idea that this is Inter Scudetto to lose still, because they're ahead by 1 point. Um, but look, if we look at some of the games that they have, no, like let's go and see some of the matches that Inter have to play. Look at this, guys. So they just did this one, the Napoli Inter. They've got Champions League, Monza, that's easy. Champions League again, but then look at that. In 2 weeks' time, Atalanta Inter. So Inter going away from home against Atalanta. That is not going to be an easy fixture for Inter at all, with Atalanta obviously hoping to catch Inter up and go tied in first place, um, unless Napoli then does their job and goes above Inter themselves. But then they've got relatively what we call the bottom feeders down here, right? But after that, they've got still to play against, I believe, Lazio and all that. So look, it's not an easy fixture, guys, for Inter. If we instead go to what we have, it's a little bit of an easier picture, guys, because look, we have this one that's quite difficult. We have Milan that's quite difficult. Bologna, but then the others, I think I think we're okay with the others. Um, so I don't know. I think ours looks a little bit easier, especially because Inter have Atalanta. But look, this one, it's gonna go down exactly down to the wire. And as I said, there's no easy games. A little bit easier maybe for us, but there's no easy games. Absolutely no easy games. One team showed up today, says Helcom. It's essential, though, to keep this momentum going on. This double pivot as well was the best thing I've seen this year from Conte. Midfield apparently has depth indeed. Yeah. Yeah, look, I think if we can keep this midfield for next season, maybe add one more element, then I think we've got a complete package, I think. And this is really good, right? It's really good that we've identified Billing and that we think that he can be good enough. And who knows, maybe Cayuste as well comes back next year. And with Conte, maybe he's a different player. I mean, he's getting his experience out there in the Premier League. Apparently, he's doing pretty well, according to Ipswich fans. I mean, I don't know how high their standards are, but maybe, this guy could come back to be useful. Maybe we can sell him on and use that money to buy someone else that's hopefully of a better quality, especially if we get into, well, we'll get into the Champions League. Maybe have a even higher quality alternative. But I'm not worried about our midfield. Our defense looks pretty solid. I would 100% though try to get more depth in our defense as well, because I mean we shouldn't be relying on Juan Jesus and necessarily just Spinazzola as a replacement for our wingbacks. But I think then the focus has to be in the attack, right? We need much more in the attack. We need in all three positions. We need a Politano alternative. We need a Neres starter slash alternative, and we need, I think, someone else instead of Lukaku, because yes, Lukaku is doing a decent enough job, but he has moments in the season where it's just not working out for him. And I think we really do need to splash the cash for a proper number nine. We'll watch this stream tomorrow morning, says Jonas Alexander. This looked much better overall, but Christ, we need a cynical striker. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm referring to. Like that guy from Sporting, Joikers. That's the guy we need. Dom, every game for us will be tough. There are no easy matches, says Vince. Exactly, man. Just trade Raspadori for Lookman, says Real Rider. Yeah, I mean, Raspadori, though, has. The thing is about Raspadori is that if you are in a situation where you do need to play for whatever reason with a 3-5-2, then he's a good player to have. So he gives you that flexibility that it's good to have. It's good to have. Maybe we don't need it if we have enough backups for everybody that, we just replace one player with the other in case a player gets injured without having to reshuffle our formations. But Raspadori is the type of guy that if in case you do need to shuffle things around, he's quite useful to have. Napoli 41482, thank you so much for the $20 donation. Says Napoli should go back into the Asian market next year for depth. Okay, this is sounding interesting. Let's see what the remaining part of the comment takes. Tekafusu, oh yeah, the guy from Real Sociedad, Kubo, is rumored to be an option for Napoli in the summer as a quality winger, and Marat Kushanov from Uzbekistan for a quality back. Both very good. Yeah, look, man, very, very interesting options. I think Kubo has a really high release clause. Let me just Google it very quickly. Kubo release clause. 60 million release clause. I think it's a bit high, and Real Madrid I think have an option for it. So I think he's on the radar of clubs like Liverpool and Arsenal and all that kind of stuff. Whereas I think some of the other players that are out there from these other countries, they could be interesting, right? They could be interesting because maybe they're a bit less in the spotlight. You can get a nicer price for them, and it's always good as well to have these international players come in, expand the Napoli brand. It's obviously something that De Laurentiis does think about, because he loves to go and get players from these sort of big markets outside of Europe and place a Napoli flag in those countries, like he did when Kim was around or Lozano. He went and he got the top one or two players from that country and brought them in, and it opens up an entire opportunity to sell T-shirts and merchandise in those places. So I'm sure De Laurentiis is looking at that. Zegrova is a great option too. Yeah, I would replace Ngonje with Zegrova. One left foot with another. He's next level, and I think it's a very very good option. Philip Lang from PSV impressed me a lot. I saw the highlights of the PSV Juventus game. He was rumored to come to Napoli. He even said so himself that he would have come had the clubs made an agreement. So, you know, maybe that's something that we can continue to think about over the summer. Can't wait for the summer when we get Champions League. You can really spend money. Look, we did spend money last summer as well, but obviously, I think now we can also spend it in a much more focused manner with Conte knowing exactly what he needs. And we just need this Osimhen saga to be resolved as soon as possible. Like if we can get Osimhen's money in June, that would be incredible, guys. Like even if it's 40 million, 50 million, whatever the case may be, right? But it just gives us something so that we can then spend the next 2 months properly planning out our summer. What I would rather have 50 million in June than 70 in end of August, when then there's not enough time to go out and deploy that money, right? But if you give me 50 million in June, I have 2 months to actually use something. Otherwise, we're stuck like last summer, where we could only splash the cash towards the end while we were waiting for the Osimhen thing to resolve. In the end, we didn't even get the money for Osimhen, but De Laurentiis was forced into um, anticipating, let's say, his sale, pretending as if it was something that is going to happen anyways, just so that he could give Conte some players like McTominay and Lukaku for this season. But look, I don't think we will miss Champions League. There, I think today was the day, guys. Today was the day that it was sliding doors. Had we lost today, and had we lost badly as well, then people would be questioning whether not only we would be fighting for the Scudetto, I think that would have been out of the question, but we would have had to start looking at our backs to Juventus, Fiorentina, Lazio. With the draw, we are in the Scudetto hunt. And look, the thing is that if, let's say, Inter and Atalanta draw next weekend, or in 2 weeks' time, sorry, and Napoli also does not manage to change gear compared to the previous weeks, and we continue also not to win, we will start also seeing Juventus in this title race. I mean, guys, they are not that far behind Juventus. They are not that far behind. If I take a look at the table, Juventus, with a game in hand, are 9 points behind Inter. If they win their game, they go to 6 points behind Inter. With 10 games to go, being 6 points behind, it's not the end of the world. It's like, it really means that Juventus are in this title fight, guys. It's a four-way title fight. I mean, 6 points is nothing. It's really nothing. So yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think Juventus I'm gonna start a poll because I really don't know what to think about this. Is Juventus in the title fight if they go minus 6 points this weekend? Yes and no. Because I think it's very clear, no, that we have Inter, Napoli, Atalanta. I wonder if we also need to start bringing in Juventus in this topic. That would be that would be an interesting dynamic, a four-way fight for the title. Let me just see some of their fixtures that they have. Wow, they have Atalanta next weekend. So this weekend they have Verona, so they're probably gonna win. Wow, they have Atalanta, Fiorentina, and Roma as three of their next four games, and they still have to play against Lazio. So not easy, but look, guys, Atalanta have first Juve and then Inter. These are their next two games. That's not easy for Atalanta. They're playing against tough teams in the next few weeks. Who else do they still have to play? They still have to play Milan. They still have to play Fiorentina and obviously Inter and Lazio. So yeah, I think out of all these teams, Napoli is the one that has some of the easier games. Can I just say that I'm not seeing enough likes. I'm not seeing enough likes, guys, and I know I've not been present with some of the midweek videos, and there's one that I'm super excited. It's ready. I just need to find the time to actually shoot it. Um, I know I've not done the shorts and all the stuff, but I will try my best at some point to make it up for you guys. But yeah, it's tough out there. I think this week I worked between 80 and 100 hours, so you know, a little bit of slack. So yeah, guys, it's man, this consulting life is tough. I tell you that. It's very tough sometimes. Let's see this how this poll ended. So we've got Juventus in the title fight. 65% of you guys say that it's a no, that you don't believe um that they are in a title fight. So let's see, because it it's not crazy. It's not crazy to think that they are. And 35% of you think that way as well. Uh this comment, I don't really understand. I mean, are you mad that Meret didn't save that free kick? I don't think this year Meret made any mistakes, man. I mean, that free kick was incredible. I think maybe Meret could have done a better job, though, to be fair to you, to position the wall. I think so. Second half, Juventus is always spooky. Yeah, dude, they always come out strong in the second half of the season. Always do. Always do. Right, guys, I want to show you guys the analysis of the game. It's only two slides, okay? It's only two pictures. Why? Because, as I told you guys, I already worked way too much this week. I was not going to work as well for Inter Napoli. But I did manage to take two pictures that I want to discuss with you. This is this one. I want to see what I want to start another poll, guys. This is a very interactive live session. Is this a penalty? Give me your thoughts, guys. Is this a penalty? Yes or no? And be objective about it. I'll give my reasons for both, okay? One, yes, it's a penalty because his arm is out there and it's adding volume to his body. But on the other hand, no, it's not a penalty because he's an Inter player, guys. I mean, don't you see the badge in front of his shirt? How could it possibly be a penalty if it's an Inter player, guys? I mean, use your head, guys. I mean, it's so simple. Like it's written in the Marotta League rules, right? That if you're wearing a black and blue logo on your shirt, then it is not a penalty, guys. I mean, it's the rules. I don't know those of you that are voting yes, why you think this is a penalty. It's ridiculous. It's as if you guys don't know the rules. Um, so I'm quite surprised by you. Honestly, it takes six angles to work out a penalty these days. Um, bro is dancing Macarena or something. Yeah. Yeah, man. This is uh, an an incredible an incredible decision by the VR. Some people are saying, yeah, but there was that thing with McTominay on Dumfries, guys. That thing with McTominay, it was a little bit borderline, but let's be honest. Dumfries had touched the ball. He sent the header backwards. Then McTominay came crashing into him. Fine. But it wasn't a situation where it was like, oh, Inter could have scored, you know? It wasn't so serious. Whereas this one's a shot on target that the guy is literally saving with his hand. Now, the referees could say, yeah, but, he's just protecting his body. The ball would have hit his body. But then show me the angle. Show me the angle that proves to me that the ball is going in a trajectory that says that it would be one thing or the other. And also, I'm used to the fact that if your hands are on your body or on your waist, then it's not a penalty. But the moment you lift it up, in my opinion, the moment that there's movement, I think that has to be a penalty. Like, we have to make things very clear. There's either your arm is attached or your arm is up. That's the way that it should be. This for me is a penalty. It's it's crazy. It's crazy, but I'm surprised that there's actually 18% of you that says no. Maybe I've got some Inter fans in the house. Um, Napoli 41482, man, thank you again for your donations. Too kind, my friend. Says Jonathan David is still in consideration for next year. His little contract is up after the season. Yeah, that could be a very, very interesting situation with him obviously being free. Let's see a little bit how he's doing this year. So Jonathan David, 25 years old, plays for Lille, 21 appearances, 12 goals. I think he's the type of player that, look, if you can get him for free, why not? Maybe to replace Simeone, right? Because Simeone, it's clear that something's just not quite there for him um, at the moment this season. So maybe you get Jonathan David, you get rid of Simeone, who I love in terms of his character and everything, but he's not providing us anything on the field in terms of output this year. And we get him, and then we also get someone else. Because look, guys, next year we have to go and fight for three different titles. I mean, this team this year maybe wasn't ready for the Scudetto. Conte can say all he wants, but next year they whatever happens this year, the expectation will be fighting for the Scudetto. You can't be with 10 games to go in this position and then next year you say the objective is top four. No, the objective is the Scudetto. If you finish second, the objective is going to be the Scudetto. If you finish first, you have to go and defend it. So we have to build a team that has depth for that, and we have to do well in the Champions League. Mike Ekstad, man, thank you for being a club member for 5 months, as Politano drove me crazy today. Yeah, man. Let me just finish the analysis with the final slide, guys. With this giant here. Um, what a great entrance he made. What an impact last week and this week. And if people in Naples were not too familiar with this man, guess what? They are now. They definitely are now. And what a feeling it must be. And you could see in the way that he celebrated, like what a relief and what a moment I feel like when someone who had a tough year this year. He didn't play much for Bournemouth, comes into Napoli, doesn't play for like 2 months, then all of a sudden is so decisive in such an important game. Wow, what a story. I love these kind of underdog stories. Right now, let's get to the player ratings, guys. It's that part of the stream. And you'll be surprised maybe to see that I've put Raspadori and Lukaku 5 each. But look, Raspadori had a howler in the first half with the way that the ball escaped his feet. It really could have been a goal for Napoli. I mean, he was through. He just had to have a bit of calmness in that situation, and it didn't work out for him. Maybe you could say unlucky, but then the quality, man, of some of his corners was just so poor. Same with Politano, Politano's quality today was just so poor. But I did give Politano an extra point just because I think defensively and in terms of output, I think he did extremely well. The defense, um, it was decent. I think Di Lorenzo, I gave him only a six because there are times when I would like him to have a bit more quality going forward, and he gets into really good positions, but then he's not able to find the pass, he's not able to find the right cross, and I think he needs to take more initiative. And defensively, he didn't have as hard of a client as maybe Rachmani or Buongiorno did. Buongiorno, instead, very, very good. That block on Di Marco, who knows where that shot could have gone? It could have been 2-0 for Inter. So incredible game by Di Marco. Spinazzola did well. But yeah, then guys, the midfield, very, very solid. Billing as well. I can't give him more than a seven, even though he was, maybe the man of the match for the goal that he did. I mean, he only played 5 minutes. So yeah, Oliveira, Okafor, I gave him a six because again, they didn't play many minutes. So just a standard, like just a pass, really. And then Gonje, he had so many chances down that right hand side in the 5 minutes that he played, and he squandered all of them. I mean, the trivela that he tried with the outside of his left foot, man, I wanted to throw something at my screen. I mean, dude, what are you doing? You're not him. You're not him. Don't do things that are not in your locker, man. That are not in your skill set, you have to be who you are, and don't try things that have a 1% chance of success, man. So yeah, there was other times when he could have passed the ball to Lukaku. There was that shot at the end that, look, he did a good job, but I think he had the time and space to do better. I mean, do you remember, guys, Diawara against Chievo in the 90th minute, like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, when he stopped the ball? It was in a corner, so even more people in the box. He stopped the ball, looked up, curled it around. I'm not saying that Ngonja had to do that, but at the same time, we know he's got the quality to do stuff like that, and he just didn't put it out there on the field. Instead, he went for a shot that honestly was at the goalkeeper, then it got deflected, and he was maybe a bit unlucky in the deflection that it didn't change trajectory. Like it just shot up, but had it gone a little bit on the side, it could have been a goal, right? But I think he could have found a corner. I think he could have done better. Some of you guys disagree. A little harsh on Lukaku. I thought he showed great desire in the first half. Yes, and he had that shot from that Gilmore pass, but I don't know. I feel like, yeah, look, a few of you are saying that Lukaku's good. So maybe I'm being a bit tough on Lukaku, to be honest. Maybe. Conte's reaction to Ngonja is too funny. Yeah. I mean, Conte, to be fair, gave him the chance and he didn't use it. And Gonja plays like he has that recess. Yeah, exactly. And the guy is just, vibes. That's it. Right. Let's see what Conte has to say, and then I'm gonna wrap it up, guys, so that I can save a little bit of my voice. I feel like I'm getting a bit of a cold here. Interesting, Di Marco said Juventus and Atalanta are also in the title fight. So look, Di Marco's pulling Juventus in as well. Let's hear first from Lobotka, actually. I want to hear from Lobotka. Lobotka says, um, it's a great feeling, but we're not happy because we wanted to win. But that's football for you. Conte at halftime told us to keep attacking, and then they ask him about Billing, and he says Billing is a very important player for us, who always trains very well, and he's growing a lot. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lobotka, for your expert input there, those 3 words. Now let's hear Conte. He says um, that he's giving the team 2 days of rest, that they need to that they've earned it as a prize for this game. The alternative was to see each other again tomorrow. I gave them the choice, and they preferred to take the rest now. They are guys that are so serious that I'm absolutely okay with giving them some rest. By the way, I want to say thank you to Mike for the $2 donation. Interkeeper was amazing today. Yeah, he was good. I think Inter have a very good backup goalkeeper. And thank you so much, man. Um, Continuing on with Conte says, obviously there's a little bit of disappointment because we did a great game against a very good team who has been built over the last few years. And we just need to make sure that we show this kind of character in all the games that we play. And if we continue like this, then we will be in a very good position, but I won't say for what. So very uh, keeping a tight lid, Antonio Conte and Lukaku. They asked him, could Lukaku have maybe received some passes before? Was there maybe the fact that we didn't utilize him as much? And he says, yes, exactly, especially on crosses. Actually, Lukaku today had his best game since he is at Napoli. So that's another person that doesn't agree with my ratings, apparently. So maybe I need to rewatch Lukaku's game. For me, he's a very important player because if he dominates, then so do we. This year he struggled in a few games, but today he did very well. We made an excellent game. We deserved more, but we have to be happy with at least what we have. And we are now heading into a final part of the season against a very strong team with Atalanta and also Juventus. So Conte also bringing in Juventus into this with Atalanta and Juventus that are also close by. Just happy that I could give the fans some good emotions today. Guys, that is everything. We've heard Conte. He's starting to open up a little bit on the whole situation about the Scudetto. I think rightly so. Now that we've already faced Inter, now it's kind of just focus on ourselves, right? We don't have to play against the teams around us. Basically, the best team that we have to play is Fiorentina. So they're a good team, but at the same time, Fiorentina are sixth. So we've not got any of the top five to play. This really should be now Napoli grinding out, churning out results from now on. But let's see, guys. Let's see, and I will log off. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. I hope you guys are happy with still being in a title fight, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And from me, that is everything. And as always, guys, Forza Napoli sempre. Ciao.